Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are all doing good today. And today we are going to talk about a new unit for our creative writing class. And in this new unit, we will focus on what people call creative nonfiction. What is creative nonfiction? We will talk about that. And in particular, we will be talking about a specific type of creative nonfiction, which is travel writing or personal travel writing. Now, let me share with you some screen, some, some PowerPoint here. Okay, so we will be talking about this, and you can see over there a person standing on top of a mountain, and I do not imagine that to be you because it will be scary for you to do that. But what I want you to imagine from this is that we're trying to go up to today to look into our past, seeing it from a different perspective, seeing it from a different angle, from a vantage point. Now, uh, what is actually creative nonfiction? That would be the first question that we will ask. Uh, Creative nonfiction is a genre of writing, and this genre of writing uses literary devices like characterization, plot, and settings to report an actual event or something that really happens. Okay, all of the contents of this are from your experience, from reality, but you present it in a way that makes it feel like literary works. Usually people focus on the plot here, because plot is what makes people stay in one reading. When they have a good plot with ups and downs, people keep reading, and that's what uh, creative nonfiction writers do. Okay, the use of plot in narrating actual events, and people have been using this for writing magazine articles or writing books about certain events or certain people. If you are interested in creative nonfiction, or in Indonesia, uh, we have Jurnalisme Sastrawi, then you might want to check an article I wrote last year in August or July about this. All right. Now, there are many types of creative nonfiction. The most common one is biography. I believe you all know any biography book now. An autobiography, something like a biography, but written by the person who is being told here. And there's also personal essays, essays that people publish in books, newspapers, magazines about themselves, but narrated in a way that makes it interesting to read. And there's also travel writing, the one that we will be discussing, we will be trying to do. But we are not going to try all travel writing because travel writing comes in many types, many shapes, and it is something that has been going on for thousands of years. Every civilization in the world has a major travel writer. Talk about China. We have a travel writer from China from the 10th century. From the Middle East, we have Ibn Battuta from 13th century, and from Greece, we have somebody doing it since before Christ. You know, since 2000 BC, there was already somebody doing that. And basically, all cultures in the world have travel writers and have major travel writing books. So it is an old trade pretty much, and throughout history, travel writing has also been undergoing changes. There are variations in there are various trends pretty much in travel writing. Uh, in during the ancient Greek era, a travel writer would go to a faraway place and report about this particular place and about these people and about the society and so on. And during the ages of discovery, like in the 15th or 16th century, uh, travel writers wrote about discoveries of new lands, lands that had not been mapped, like the discovery by the West, the discovery by the Portuguese or by a European of the land which is now called America. Many things like the trip of European to, for example, to Australia, to Tasmania, or in the South Pacific. So there was an age when travel writing was like that. But there was also an age when travel writing captured what happens or what is going on in the colonies. It is done mostly by British people who went to India, for example, or to Malaysia or to Indonesia when Indonesia was part of the British Empire. They wrote to this place. They went to these places and wrote about the society over here to be reported back to the people of England, for example, and it created a tradition of Orientalist writings, a writing about Eastern people by Western people, and there's a whole critic about that. And there are also travel writings that talk about adventures, people going to certain area, undergoing hardships, and eventually writing about this later in time. We have a lot of names for this. If you are interested, you can listen to a podcast called Travel Writing World with Jeremy Bessetti. Jeremy talks about these writers who go to distant places to experience adventures, adventures which are sometimes very hard for them. In Indonesia, we have Agustinus Wibowo, who has gone to many places in the world, uh, starting from China to India to Nepal to Afghanistan, and basically major countries in uh, East and Central Asia. And now I think he has gone. He has been to many other places which I do not I do not keep track anymore. And there's also, however, personal stories or a look inside yourself. This is some kind of travel writing that talks mostly about your journey as a person in seeing certain things in life. And uh, we have a major movie made out of a travel writing like this called Eat, Pray, Love, starred by Julia Roberts, of course. And in Eat, Pray, Love, we have a woman from the US who goes to India and then to Italy and eventually to Indonesia to find some kind of peace of mind, to be a person who is spiritual but not religious, and basically discovering herself after her divorce from her husband. So these are various types of travel writing that we can all read today. And now what I want to show you is this book called Places. Yeah, I got the original book, and this book is a collection of travel writing by Singaporeans. And by Singaporeans here, I'm referring to people who are from Singapore who now probably live in different parts of the world. And this book is a product of a workshop mentored by this person, Boey Kim Cheng and Angie Neo. I'm not very familiar with these writers, but I just recently found, for example, Boey Kim Cheng, who wrote articles about his trips between stations. I'm not sure. I haven't read it myself, so I cannot talk much about it. So this book is a result of a workshop, pretty much like what we are now doing. But this workshop is more intensive, and I believe it will be more challenging because these people who write are not writers. They are daily working people who eventually get together and learn to write about their personal experiences. And the writing in this book is quite, I mean, the writings, the articles are not very long, are manageable in size. And I think these are the kind of travel writing that you can try to imitate, and or you can try to do, not imitate, to do. And there's a statement by Cheng here that this travel writing doesn't provide Shangri-Las, doesn't talk about Shangri-Las or Timbuktus or unbeaten paths or wild places and remote tribes. By Shangri-Las here, of course, it's not a hotel. He means Shangri-La as a place where you can find joy and delight and peace. It is like a utopia, a place that you long to see, but no one has ever seen. And Timbuktu here is a place in Mali near the desert. And this place is very far from the coast, and it's difficult to achieve. But when you get there in the Middle Ages, in the medieval era, you could find gold, because this is where the biggest gold mine of Africa was found. And there's also a lot of libraries with books that talk about many things in Timbuktu back in the Middle Ages. And it was difficult to reach. So this book, Places Here, doesn't talk about journeys like this, doesn't talk about journeys to Shangri-Las or Timbuktus. But as Cheng says here, each reveals a vivid and memorable experience and a unique way of seeing and remembering. These are what you will find: personal essays with vivid description of the past or memorable experience and unique things. And here, Cheng follows what Marcel Proust says: the real voyage is the discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. This is in line with the new spirit in travel writing. It's not about the discovery of new places, discovery of remote islands or remote tribes, but it's about a new way of looking at things. The places that these writers are talking about are not very strange, are not very alien to us, but they are new because of the way these writers see it. And that's what you can also replicate. You can also do that as well. You don't have to go uh, to jungles, remote tropical jungles and write about something. No, you can just go to, for example, okay, you can just go to Gunung Kawi and then write about what you experience over there. And that would be a good thing for other people to read. And here we will find what we find are personal, sensitive, and nuanced encounters with people and places. So it sounds so manageable, right? Just an encounter with people, an encounter with places, but because you feel it, you use your memory, and you feel various aspects of it, eventually you will get a strong description of that experience. That's what you will also need to do. We will explore ourselves in creating something like this. Now, what are our purposes? First of all, of course, we want to exercise our ability in creating vivid description. This is important in itself. It's good to create vivid description of a place that we visited, but it will also be good for later when you need to write a story and you need to describe the place in a way that is convincing for others to see. And the second thing is we need to capture our own emotional or intellectual moments. This is like a meditation. You try to remember. Well, no, meditation says that people say that meditation is not about remembering, right? It's about releasing. But here, I mean, ruminations, thinking about your emotion, your experience, your what you feel, what you felt, what you thought, and what you sensed during certain time. You might not remember it exactly the way it happened, but you will eventually remember it. There's a saying by people say it's Maya Angelou or Karl Puchner, but basically the quote is like this: people may not remember what you said, but people will remember what you make them feel. This is also what I want you to explore. You might not remember exactly what someone said when you met them, but you might still remember what you felt when you met them. Okay, let that sink in, and you will find that you will let that sink in and try to find an experience that you had in the past that includes something like that. Okay, and finally, as usual, we need to see also the limits of our English expressions. All right, we are all learning English, and by writing something in English, we will push ourselves to express thoughts, emotions, and feelings in the best way we can possibly do. If we are out of words, then it's probably time for us to open our dictionary again, or check Google to find how to say something in English. It's good to challenge yourself that way. And what is our goal? Our goal for this course or for this unit is to write a travel writing consisting of 500 words, not more than that. And this travel writing should be a fusion of place and emotion. You describe a place and also describe your emotions or your, your thoughts. It doesn't have to be emotion, it can be thoughts. And if possible, you will have to you will need to accompany this travel writing with a picture you took from that trip. Okay, I will give you a template like what I gave you earlier this week for this one, so that it will look like a professionally prepared manuscript that you can send to, for example, magazines or newspapers. It will be good if we do that, although I don't require you to do that. Okay. And with that, I want to release you now to your writing project. But, but before going there, let me give you just one example of what I will write. As usual, I will be writing something along with you. You will write your assignments, and I will write something to empathize with you pretty much. I don't want to be a person who tells my student to write without me doing it myself, okay? And for me, this time I will write about an experience of going to Bandung with you earlier this year, in which I met a friend whom I had met for the first time 13 years ago, 13 years before. And when I saw him in Bandung in January with you, it was our second meeting. But as friends, we are very good friends. We have been communicating with each other over WhatsApp, over earlier Twitter, Facebook, Multiply, and so on. So it was a good experience for me, seeing a friend after 13 years. And we know each other very well, but we've met only twice. So I cannot talk much about that yet because I'm still brainstorming it. And I want you also to do that, to brainstorm a particular experience in your life that you want to write about. Okay, I guess that's all, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you later. Bye.